Yeah, go Oilers. So, we'll start with a moment of reflection before we get into the approval of the agendas. So, we'll start with a moment of reflection now. All right. Approval of the agendas. We have two consent agenda. There's a few items in there, nothing too major. Anyone prepared to make a motion on the consent agenda? Councillor Wolfson will make the motion. If there's no further discussion, call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Our regular meeting agenda, I've heard of no changes or additions, so motion to approve as presented. Councillor Fox, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. For the good of council, does anyone have something they wish to share with the whole council? Go ahead.
We're just in a
Councillor
state of
Henniger.
fun chaos this week, but it is our community celebration of our 150th in the town of Fort Macleod. So starting tomorrow with the Egg Show and Pro Rodeo, going Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we are going all the way up until Monday, July 1st with Canada Day celebrations. You can follow social media on Tourism Fort Macleod or Town of Fort Macleod, and that will be posted the evening before, the day of, and then the hour before every event. So you will know exactly what's happening around town. And there is a lot. So I hope to see everybody out and about. And Friday is our opening ceremonies on Main Street at 5 p.m.
Thank you very much. And thank you to the team that's doing all this work. That's pretty crazy. There's lots going on. The planning, the organizing, and the logistics behind everything. Did have a chance to get a preview of the rodeo grounds. That's looking pretty amazing. So lots going on for sure. So we encourage everyone to check out the schedule and to come on, share it with your friends too.
Looks like she doesn't have the weather under control, though.
Oh, that's under control.
It's fine. Everything's great. The Oilers are going to win. The weather's going to be great all week. All is great. We're putting it out into the world, Jim.
We just have to pay the weather forecaster a little bit. Anything else? I know myself and Councillor Patel had a chance to go by the powwow on Saturday, and it's been a long time, from my understanding, that they've had an official powwow in Fort Macleod. So big events. We weren't there too long into it, but by the time everything was going, I'm sure there was a few hundred people there and a lot of great dancers. So congratulations to them and putting that on and hosting that in the town. Anyone else have something they wish to share? Councillor Henniger.
Sorry, I'm just stealing a lot of things. After our big celebrations, on Canada Day specifically in Granham, JP Petros is having a fundraising at the Homesteader, and that's on Canada Day at 3 p.m. in the hamlet of Granham. And that was just following the vandalism that happened at their gas station, and it's upwards of 400,000 in damages because of the leak, and insurance doesn't always cover those things, unfortunately. So if you're out and about in Granham for the parade and then seeing the fireworks, that starts at 3 p.m. and there is a lot, from kids' bikes to memorabilia, everything. So that's in Granham on Canada Day, because we'll all be heading there anyways for fireworks.
Very well. And the weekend before last, the Checkmates car show was very well attended as well. Congratulations to those organizers. I think they had the largest participation they've ever had, going down both sides into the parking lots beside the Gazette and then so on. So that was good, as well as the Antique and Gun Show. Very busy weekend that was as well. All right, anything else? Seeing none, we will move on. Oops, sorry. Sorry. CEO Burdette.
I'm invisible today. Just wanted to remind everyone of their favorite day of the year, property tax deadline. So if you've made it to the opening ceremonies of the 150th and haven't paid your taxes, you will be too late. So this Friday, 4:30, we will be open, we'll be ready. Just a friendly reminder.
Is that on the agenda? That would be pretty. All right, anything else? If not, we'll carry on to a public hearing that we have tonight for bylaw 1983. And we will ask our Director of Operations, Wally, to introduce this bylaw to us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We want to make a recommendation that Council opens the public hearing for bylaw 1983, Waste Management Schedule B, then calls for a continuance at a future Council meeting to allow for additional information, discussion, and consideration regarding the paper statement fee. We are introducing a paper fee for anyone that wants an actual hard copy statement each month. We want to be green, want to encourage our people to receive e-bills in their emails. So we want to finalize the process of doing that. And that's the reason why we're not having the second and the third reading tonight. But we want to open a public hearing for council to administer on behalf of administration tonight. Thank you.
All right, so my understanding is that we'd like to open the public hearing, and before we close the public hearing, we'll ask for a continuance of the public hearing, and we'll close the public hearing at a future council meeting. And in the meantime, if anyone has additional comments or thoughts, now is the time to be sure you get those in. So I will request a motion from council to open the public hearing for bylaw 1983. Councillor Fox makes the motion to open the public hearing. So the public hearing is for bylaw 1983, Schedule B primarily, which is the fee schedule for our garbage and recycling. And so if anyone is here wishing to speak for or against bylaw 1983, if you would be so kind as to come to the mic, share your thoughts. Yep.
Good evening.
Clarification, as for the additional $2.50 for gift card, is that mailed out to people or is that?
The additional $2.50 will be for anyone requesting for an actual physical paper copy to be posted to their address. We want to encourage people to request for e-bills that will be posted, that will be sent to their emails instead of an actual paper copy.
So the fee will be added to the bill. The $2.50 will be an extra line item on the utility bill.
So it will be added to the e-bills?
For paper,
No,
No.
will be added to
not, yeah,
your
just for the
consumption.
paper copies.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, any other comments for or against? Councillor Wolstenholme?
I just want to get it straight, so there will no longer be paper copies unless you pay the $2.50.
Correct,
That's for the whole town bill,
yes.
not just,
That would be water, no, yeah,
For anyone going forward, anyone that wants a physical, actual paper copy, there will be a line item for $2.50 that will be charged to their bill going forward. When council approves this, eventually, effective 1st of January 2025.
okay. Thank you.
Councillor Monteith?
I must have missed it, but why aren't we doing second and third readings today?
We want to finalize the process of actually billing the residents, the $2.50. We need to update our processes. We need to update our software. There are still some other things that we need to do as administration at the back end that we need to sort out before we actually encourage council to approve this finally.
I don't understand why we need to wait. We're approving the 250, how administration deals with it and whatever shouldn't matter to this, should it?
We'll ask Garcia or Burdette to speak to this.
Yeah, the, outside of the administrative pieces that we need to take care of, just because there is some language in the actual specific write-up of the bylaw that after a second review, we realized we wanted to tweak it because we're amending a schedule that was previously an amended schedule to the bylaw. And so upon second review of it, we need to change some of that language, and to do so, we just need to keep it open, because if we pass it right now, we can't make those small adjustments. So it's really just, part of it's to clean up the language of that, just so that we're certain that we've got all of the boxes ticked in the amendment of the amended schedule. So that's part of the reason we'll keep it open, make sure we get enough consultation, make sure the language is good, and then pass it at the next meeting.
Does that answer your question, Councillor? Not ideal. We still had the public hearing advertised for today, so I think if we could have adjusted that, we probably would have postponed the public hearing. All right, any other comments, questions? If council has comments, they can make it at this time as well, right? Just before we move on. I think the thought that I had is, because I know from what I understand, it's increasing $2 for the next 3 years. And the thought I had is maybe the comparables to other neighboring communities is we're quite a bit lower. So I'm just wondering if we do a bigger jump the first year and then smaller jumps the 2 years after was the only thought I had. That way it's we catch up quicker, and then the next 2 years are slower increases. Is there any reason we shouldn't do that, perhaps? Councillor Wolstenholme?
I'm not sure we have to catch up to people to pay higher.
No, to cover our costs,
Well,
because right now we know that we're not breaking even, so then,
well, we are on residential. And that's what we're talking about bumping up. I mean, bumping both of them up, but
okay, so then you would argue that we don't need $6 increase in 3 years?
I don't, I could live with that. I'm not sure I want a bigger bump for the first year.
And that's something we could still discuss in advance of next council meeting or whenever the schedule comes back.
Yeah, we would want any changes or adjustments to be discussed and finalized, so that when we come into the next, when the public hearing's still open before we close it, to do third reading, that it would be as we would want it approved, that's all. So we can delay it and kind of make some adjustments going forward as well.
Okay. Okay, very good. So as per the recommendation, is anyone prepared to make a motion to call for a continuance of the public hearing to a future council meeting? Councillor Henniger makes the motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? None opposed. Motion is carried. Moving on to unfinished business, we have the National Police Federation request, and our CEO, Anthony Burdette, can introduce this to us.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As Council is aware, we received a request from the National Police Federation, more or less encouraging us and other municipalities to encourage the provincial government to focus on the current policing strategies and current policing budgets and increasing and improving the current situation as opposed to looking at new and different opportunities. So we had some conversation about this last week in our committee of the whole meeting, discussing about the town's position on this and whether we want to move forward. So the recommendation this evening is that the town of Fort Macleod supports the resolution put forth by the National Police Federation at Alberta municipalities regarding Bill 11, the Public Safety Statutes Amendment Act 2024, advocating for any provincial funding or resources to be directed towards enhancing existing public safety services, such as the Alberta RCMP and municipal police services, rather than establishing a new independent agency police service. I think this has been one that's been discussed a number of times. We will be looking to see what other municipalities are standing for this. We would imagine that there are a number that are supporting this position. But yeah, that's the recommendation this evening. I'm open to any questions.
Anyone have any questions from council? Anyone prepared to make a motion? And the motion will be to support the two resolutions for Alberta municipalities. There was two resolutions, correct? One was more focused on a full comprehensive study by an independent body, and the other one was to focus funding on existing services. Everyone's clear on the motion? Any further discussion? Debate? Seeing none, we'll call it to question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on then to our in-camera. And this was a very short public meeting tonight. There was not much on the agenda. So I'll call for a motion to go in camera for 3 items. Councillor Fox makes that motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried.